help you. And I'm not going to give you my car. And you're not punishing me because you're unhappy. Because you can't see the whole picture. Give a damn. You come down here, you knew this job was going to end, but yet you came anyway. And I understand that you're scared, and this is the best doctor, these are the best places for you to be. But I can't be picking up the pieces. This is the second bunch. You should have been saving your money and just sleeping on a bed and had a TV. Okay? And I appreciate for what you do and that you're smart and you can do that. But it's not the right way. This isn't about you. This is about all of us. And what's the right for us? Okay, when I buy groceries, I buy for everybody. When you do something, you do it just for Ann. When you take off and do this, it doesn't. And then somebody has to come down here. You put your money into a car. I would have never bought that car, but I didn't want to insult you. You were so happy. Okay? It was definitely not the right car to get. It was too worn out. Too high mileage. Too many things wrong with it. You led me to believe that there was a window in there. And I barely got that paid for. So I have money in that car that I could have used to fix the house that you complained about the bathroom doesn't have the right shower. I can get a decent shower here. Well, I could have had a decent shower too. But I didn't want you to drive around in a car with cold. And I'm thinking about you all the time and you're spending my money because you're having a temper tantrum. No more temper tantrums. No more talking about how things are tough for you. They're tough for me too. By your choice. You don't care how hard I have to work for my money and how generous and kind, but you have worn me out. And I try to think of you, and I try not to put you into a home, but if you keep running away and if you keep making these decisions, then my hands are tied, and I can't afford that, and I can't afford the stress. And if I have a heart attack, that's where you'll go anyway. And nobody has to put you there, okay? Because they'll scoop you up off the street somewhere. But you may suffer some frostbite, you may suffer hunger, you may be raped, beat up. You want to put yourself in harm's way. You want to put me into harm's way financially. And not even think nothing about it. The only thing you can think about is, oh, and this and that. But oh yeah, you just want to put me in. And I think I like Hitler better than I like everybody else. You're sitting right here trying to tell me that things aren't going to go your way. You bet they're not going your way. They're going to go the right way. And we're going to do this together. You got a roof over your head. And if you don't like it, I'll dump your stuff out in the street right here, right now. So you make up your decision. Okay? You think you ought to run in there and do what you want to, and you're not even thinking of consequences. You didn't have to answer the door every time the cops came. Finally, they caught me in my car pulling up in front of the house that he parked where I couldn't see him pull up. Okay? Well, we didn't know who he was after. We knew he was after you, but we didn't know for what. We're in this together, and we're going to do it right. And they're not going to take advantage of us either. And they will find you. There are those people. So if you get a job at the public sees you. And who's to say there isn't somebody at McDonald's or your old McDonald's boss is trying to find you, collect people. Lots of people work for those, and they do that as a side job to make money, to be a bill collector. Anyway, anywhere, anyhow, to anyone. They don't care who you are, what your circumstances are. I do. And we're going to do it the way I said, and you ain't going to argue me, and you ain't going to punish me. And if you get down and have another temper tantrum like you did again, I will come up there and I will slap you one way, and then I'll slap you the other way. And I'm going to do what my mother told me if I acted like that. I'm going to slap you up to a peak, and then I'm going to knock the peak off. And I didn't cross my mother. And I didn't treat her dirt like you do me. Just so you could have your way because you feel sorry for yourself. I am sorry for what you have. Okay? I'm sorry for me too. I'm sorry my husband passed away at 68 years old. Okay? At least Grandpa Everett lived to be 85. Grandma had him for 85 years. We didn't have your dad for that long, so we had to get out. We had to make up the difference. And I had his Social Security, but if Grandma Helen had her way, she'd have had it. Okay? And it's another selfish person. She did great things, but she did it. And she used to do this to Jim and your dad. They'd go out on these big cruises, and it probably cost $15,000 to take Phil and Victorine and Margie and Archie and Beth. And they'd go on these cruises, and then they'd come home and they'd go, well, what are you doing? How come you ain't off at work? Well, we just got home. We had been gone working for 3 days. They didn't even want them to have a day off, or didn't even want them to sleep because that they spent too much on their vacation. See, everybody talks about how sweet and wonderful Grandma was, but let me tell you, she wore the nicest clothes, had the biggest jewelry, lived in a nice house, drove a new car, and she did it on the back of her sons. And then when it come time to get what she wanted, it wasn't enough. She had to steal your money from Agent Orange and steal the mesothelioma so that we wouldn't have any money. And she'd have stole the Social Security if she could have got it wrangled around her way. And she used Barry. And what did it cost Barry? His dignity and his life. And he didn't know that's what he was getting roped into by his mother. And that's how selfish. Okay? Uncle Barry would still be alive had his mother not thrown him under the bus for her own personal greed. And our neighbor across the street, she would go into that nursing home and everybody talk about, well, what does she need all that fancy stuff? Rosie would bring all this brand new furniture and everything. And they took her 2 days. And she says people come in there with just the clothes on their back. And there's a bed there. They don't have to have a recliner, and they don't have to have a rocking chair, and they don't have to have these lamps. They don't have to have a little mini refrigerator. And I mean, she had everything. And she was jealous of my mom. She'd send people to complain about me, call up and say that I did terrible things. So I know somebody like that. And all she could think about was that she had to look good and she had to look a certain way, and nobody cared. Nobody cared. Just her. She lived to be 100 years old, but I bet you she isn't getting the life that she thought she was going to get. I mean, in her own selfish greed, she didn't even see it, and she didn't even think anything about it. And Barry killed himself. She threw him under the bus. Now I'm going to go in. Did you get me a Coke?
It's right here.
Okay. And I'm fighting back. I'm not going down this pity party. I feel sorry for you. Okay, we got a car. We got a house. It doesn't cost you anything to live there, and I don't care if you can't figure out a way to entertain yourself and to be happy. Like all you're going to. You're going to. Okay, do we need to take that whole sack in? Will that help us? Or we probably should just take your underwear out. Thank you very much. And that's where I'm at, and don't push me any further, because you could darn well end up on the highway walking somewhere, and I wouldn't give a shit anymore. Because you don't care about me. I could have a heart attack. You put me under so much stress at my age. So I have to protect my health. Okay? Yes, of course you could have a job when we get a couple other things resolved. But I've poured all my money that I made this month out for everybody for Christmas, and I still haven't gotten to see granddaughter and Emmett yet, and Jackson. And so I still have their Christmas money to give to them. And every time you call me, I sent you money. But it doesn't matter if we do this now or if I give you $1,200 to live in this apartment, which is just throwing money away that I could use to fix up the bathroom and to put a dishwasher and a washer and dryer in the house. Okay? So, I mean, where do you think I am? Think I've got a money tree growing in my bedroom? I just walk in there and pick the money off that? No, I go to work every day. I do 8 hours of sitting there. My feet swell. I can't even hardly get to the bathroom because then they you can't even pick up your phone. They police you something terrible. They want you to do so many reads after so many. And that's where I'm at. And I could lose my job. And then I've had trouble for some reason or another. I don't know why I think I'm putting things in that computer right, and I swear somebody's in there changing it. So now I have a person that has to stand over me and tell me every move to make on the computer, which I know how to enter my name. I know what my name is. Okay, and I'm very generous and very kind, but there's a limit to how far I'll go and how mean you can treat me and how inconsiderate you are. And this isn't about you, this is about us. And we know you're worried about your health. We're worried about it. But I can't change the system, okay? When we have to work within the rules and regulations. So we can't come out here and start spending $1,100 a month just so you can drive out. It's a lot cheaper for you to just drive. $1,100 a month over 5 months would be a nice used car. Okay? And then you can drive yourself down here. And I know it'd be nice to live in that apartment. But we've got to live together. And I come home and I just fall into that bed because just sitting there, and I have to sit up straight, and because I have to do these reads a certain way. And if I slouch down, then I can't see where I'm soldering, and there's a lot of responsibility in that, and it's not that easy. And then it has to go to a person, and they have to test it, so sometimes I get the read back and the wire back, and I have to reattach the wire, because I mean, these are things that go into switches, and some of these things go to switches that turn on things at NASA. And so they have to look right. They can't have a burnt wire because you held the soldering tip too close to the wire when you soldered the wire to the metal reed. And the reed is glass, and all it is a little transformer or a little switch. But it's a job that I have to do. I have to get up and I go there, and I'm up right every morning. I've never missed. I've never been late. And I'm doing a good job, and I'm making the quota that they want me to make. They're happy with what I'm doing. I'm not the fastest one there, but I've been there less than anybody. This one girl, they said, well, boy, look at how fast. She's just only been here a couple months. I go, no, and she worked at Kimball for 3 years. Oh, she did? Well, no wonder she does such a good job. I go, yeah. Well, she says, I thought she just started here for the first time like you. And I go, no, she came from Kimball. She worked there for 3 years. Oh. So I said, she has lots of experience about welding these reeds and doing this and doing that. And you don't get better unless you practice. And I have gotten a lot better than when I first started. Because you learn how to wrap that wire. I can't believe how. And then once you learn how to do it, it's a very simple thing, but it takes time to learn how to do it. It's like learning how to ride a bicycle. You don't just jump on it and start riding. You have to balance yourself. You have to know where the brakes are. You have to know how fast to go down the road. You have to pedal it. So you have to be a multitasker to ride a bicycle. In the same way with doing these reads, you have to multitask. Okay, let's go in and get out of this apartment, because all we have to do is clean the fridge and vacuum and throw away that thing, and we're going to go take a nap. And I don't want another word about about how bad your life is. You got it pretty darn good, because I come and rescue you all the time. And when over at 14th, you had these temper tantrums. Over at 13th, you had these temper tantrums. And I'm done with it. And there's no reason, there's nothing wrong with you that makes you that other than you're just selfish and mean. And we're not doing it your way. And I love you all the month, and I'm sorry you have this heart condition. If I could change it, I would have. But you've had the best doctors, you've had everything, and you have no reason to treat people bad. Okay, I know you're depressed. So am I. I have to pay taxes. If I'd have done things right, I wouldn't have to pay property taxes. And we're going to lose that house, but I've got to fix it up, and I've got to live there the best I can. And when I don't work no more, then it's going to take 4 months of my Social Security check to pay for it. So this job is a gift right now, and it's going to help us. And I'm putting money into something I'm never going to get it back, and so I'm going to end up in a nursing home somewhere because they'll take me and my Social Security. And that's when you're going to go, and Michelle's going to have to find a place to live. She may end up living in her car until she can get on low income. And that's what happened to the neighbor across the street. Lance or Stacy or whatever his name is. Until she could get into housing, low housing. And that's what's going to happen to Michelle. Okay, and so you're going to just have to be like Renita. You're not going to go to a group home. You're just going to go to the nursing home. And they fix your meals, and then they have offer buses and activities, and they have people come for church there. Okay? And life is where it's at. I don't want to go to the nursing home. I don't want to get old. I need a knee replacement. My jaw's swollen out here. You need dental care. You'd probably die of bad teeth before you die of a bad heart. Because it affects your teeth. So let's go in. Let's get this job done. I'm going to rest a little bit on the bed for about 15 minutes, and then I'm out of here. But I've got to have some dignity. I can't leave that carpet. You can leave some stuff in it, but we're not going to leave it filthy dirty.